Cooley.
Yo, Tone, what's up?
What's up?
You watched that show that I told you about that I didn't think you was gonna watch because you were like, it's gonna make me depressed or whatever, and then you were like, I don't like watching stuff that's makes me sad, and I was like, all right, yeah, you probably won't like this because it's a very like uncomfortable show to watch, and you were like, yeah, so probably not, and then like by fucking some act of God, I got the surprise text where you were like, "Hey, you know what I'm watching right now? I'm watching them," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I think I fucking jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Oh my god, Tony's watching them," and we can talk about it on the show because I think it's a show that needs to be talked about for many reasons, many reasons. But I want you to tell me all of your thoughts, like right now.
Oh my god. Well, by the way, if I sound like Rocky, it's because I have like congestion because I got like a cold. Don't worry, everybody, it's not fucking COVID. I already got tested, but Jesus, it makes me sound like I don't know, my voice is completely different. Hey, yo. So anyway, them. It was a very intense show, like right from the jump, which I appreciate because, there aren't a lot of shows out there that can make you feel physically uncomfortable. And the amount of just like right from the jump racism was like horribly shocking to me that people are that evil and malicious. And I mean, I know racism exists, but they really just put you smack dab in the middle of it. Like this is like hardcore. Like people hate black people and don't give a shit and will flat out think about murdering you, like no morals just because they're black. Like it's just holy shit.
Yeah, it's straight up. It's straight up 1953. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it's like
that's
not.
What I mean.
Yeah.
It's not. It was a real thing back then, but like when they throw you into it and you actually see like how bad it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ignorant to the fact that it was bad, but like when it's hitting you for like an hour,
right.
For every single episode, it's like Jesus Christ. But dude, it was very well acted. Like the acting was phenomenal in this show. Yeah, but dude, let's just like address the elephant in the room. Episode 5 was probably one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched in my life. Like we talked about disturbing scenes on a past episode, that's probably up there now. That was like as a parent, that was really hard to watch. Like the fucked up thing is that like you said to me like episode 5, and I'm like, oh damn it, like you shouldn't have told me because I was expecting something to happen in episode 5.
But you weren't expecting that.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I don't know, but I was still expecting something. But it was just, dude, it was so fucking horrifying to watch.
Tony, I don't know what you were expecting, and it doesn't matter what you were expecting because whatever it wasn't touching what you actually got in that episode. Is all.
No, it was. What's funny? I knew something was gonna happen to the kid. Because they kind of leaned toward that, and you knew like as soon as that woman showed up and started saying certain things, I'm like, oh shit. But then you see like 3 other people coming down the pathway, and she's by herself. I'm like, fuck. And then, like, I thought they were gonna kill her. I didn't know that they were gonna just flat out rape her. And then she hid the kid, and while like getting raped, they basically like put her baby in like a bag and started throwing it around until it was like lifeless. And they just dropped the fucking bag on the floor, left her there, like raped, and just like her child's dead. It was fucking awful. And like I was so physically like angry. Like literally I said it back, I was like, I want to jump through the screen and fucking murder these people. And then there was and then even there was a Becca actually said, she goes, I don't know if I want to finish the show. Like she didn't want to. I had to text Don, and I was like, hey man, is that the worst that happens? I was like, or like what else? Is there anything else? And he's like, no. He's like, there's violence and there's other stuff. He's like, but that's probably the worst that happens. And I was like,
that's
okay,
definitely the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I told her that. I was like, I think we should finish it, but she was debating, dude, because it was just so uncomfortable. And I think that's like the only time she's ever been like, I don't know if I want to finish this. And I think it's like, dude, we're both parents of, we have a 2-year-old. We're also, my wife is, we're very close. September is like our second child's due. So it's like, those are really, it's like a sensitive time. But it was just like, Jesus, man. And I think the problem that I have with some of the things about them is they're, this guy has like PTSD, right? Visibly, physically has PTSD from being in the war. He almost goes off the handle and murders like the friggin' 3 guys that show up on his driveway when he's putting the antenna on his house. But he finds out that his wife was raped and murdered, and his kid was killed, and he doesn't make any effort to find the people that did it. Like, I just was like, dude, you don't like try to figure out who it was. Like,
But we don't know that he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that they just packed up and moved immediately. Like, we don't know.
Because there was that scene where he's at it's the funeral, and like all of his black family and friends are there, and they're like, oh, go easy on him. Like his, you know what happened, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, he just like almost like shut down. Like he was so guilty that it happened that he let that cripple him. And it was just like, but I mean, like, dude, I don't know how, as a military man and as somebody who how would you not try to find, and that was never addressed. It was just addressing his guilt about the situation. And that really bothered me. I think the other thing was, there were really like weird storylines where it's almost like, and I know I'm thinking this is what they want you to think, but they have you constantly questioning if she's crazy, if the things that you're seeing are actually happening. Then there's this man with a black hat, and I feel like the supernatural aspect came in, or the paranormal aspect came in, and I'm like, okay, well, this is cool, but like, I feel like they tied it up too quick. At the end. I'm like, that's it? Like, that's it? That's all that's going to happen to this guy? And I think like I said, I mean, it was a great show, but the ending, though, it's like, the ending for me, I was talking to Becca about this last night. I think the issue that I had was that, like, it's an anthology series, right? So this is the end of their story. There's going to be, like, a whole new story, like American Horror Story type deal. So we're not going to find out anything else about them. Basically, like, the like Emerys, is that the last name of the family?
Yeah, the Emerys. Yeah,
the Emerys basically like are on their lawn, and when she comes back home and breaks out of the asylum where she's about to get lobotomized, she walks into town. They all corner her. She screams. They move out of the way. She walks into her house, and this wall of flames shoot up behind her. And I'm like, okay, like, I get its symbolism. It was a way for, you put up a wall where the rest of the neighborhood is not going to follow her into her house because the flames are preventing it. So she can save her daughters and save her husband. Like, totally get that, right? So they come out at the end. They're standing on the lawn. They are now closer because they have addressed his guilt. They've talked about it. He's basically like his PTSD, like they're getting through that. Like the daughters they took care of Miss Vera. They took care of the man with a black hat. And the Ruby Lee is now she's not disappointed in her mother. Like she is not afraid that her mother is going to, hurt her or anything like that.
Right.
So they're a closer family because of everything that happened. And now they're just going to move forward as like a connected unit and a strong unit. And I like that. But with the amount of racism the racism is not going to go away. So do they face that head on? Do they leave? Do they, like, what happens? Right. So there's that. But then there's the other problem I had with the end scene is, I understand the flames are symbolism, but from a reality standpoint, like, they see this woman walk into her house and all these flames shoot up. What do they think? Do they think like she is like a witch? Like, is she have magic powers now? Like
yeah,
that is that's only a reason for them to be more afraid of her.
Right. But they all did have like dumbfounded looks on their faces, like, you know, what the fuck is going on right now. Like they didn't look like, oh, this is fine, this is normal. You know, like they
Yeah,
look like,
but I mean that's what I mean though.
you
It's
know,
like it's a cool symbolism thing, but like from a reality standpoint, like that just makes things worse for them. You know, like maybe they're afraid of them, but I mean,
right.
they're not going to be able to fucking live there, dude. Like they need to leave. I mean, you can stay there and be tortured for the rest of your life, but I mean, or you can leave. You know, there's no way they can stay there and have a happily ever after. And that's what he wants for his family. So
One of the things I didn't like was